Episode 56, DM. This Earth Day, invest in a heat pump water heater and do the equivalent of planting a tree, or forest. The energy efficiency, cost savings, and versatility of heat pump water heaters, HPWHs, make them a clear choice for the environment and households across the U.S. With 120 million water heaters in the U.S. alone, we could save over 100 million tons in carbon emissions every year if all the water heaters in U.S. buildings were transitioned to heat pump technology. This Earth Day, join us in spreading the word about HPWHs and their many benefits. Here's why. HPWHs shrink your carbon footprint. Water heating accounts for 17 to 32% of a typical home's energy usage, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. HPWHs are 2 to 3 times more efficient than gas or electric resistance water heaters, according to the U.S. Department of Energy. We ran the numbers and found that an average HPWH saves the same amount of energy as 6 solar panels produce annually. Plus, HPWHs use electricity, which is rapidly decarbonizing. Emissions from electricity have dropped 36% since their peak in 2007. Health effects of PM 2.5. Non-smoking lung cancer is on the rise. Blame pollution, says American Lung Association. GLID equals IWAR2P5NC Best 6 IOG FAO 3KDM9P1BR7DFGV PUMRKA 0X7AGS6BSKOK DI20 VZKWM. Provided by Dow Jones. April 22, 2023. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to the subject of PM 2.5 emitted by residential wood burning. American Lung Association's 24th State of the Air Report Card says people of color face much higher risk of pollution, while severe wildfires hand California, Oregon, and other western states worrisome grades. A long-established report card grading air quality around the country has uncovered worrisome takeaways. For one, the American Lung Association, which issues the grades, finds that lung cancer among non-smokers is on the rise, with pollution considered a likely contributor. Second, communities of color are disproportionately exposed to unhealthy air and the serious pulmonary conditions and other medical concerns that come with it. And third, severe wildfires in recent years made outdoor life in the scenic U.S. West, where population is on the rise, increasingly difficult and dangerous. The lowest grades for shorter periods of daily air quality cropped up largely in western states. In all, nearly 4 in 10 Americans, 19.6 million people, live in places with failing grades for unhealthy levels of ozone pollution and both short-term and longer-lasting particle pollution, the American Lung Association said in its latest State of the Air report. The Lung Association has issued the report for 24 years, grading American cities and counties based on the population's exposure to unhealthy levels of annual particle pollution and short-term spikes in particle pollution. This year's report covers 2019 to 2021. Users can type in their location and see the grade for their air quality. The study reconfirmed that long-term exposure to pollution particles was associated with elevated risks of early death. The increased risk was primarily associated with death from cardiovascular and respiratory causes, including heart disease, stroke, influenza, and pneumonia. Researchers also found a similar association between exposure to fine particle pollution and an increased risk of death from lung cancer among never smokers. And yet another study, all detailed in the Air Quality Report Card, found that 68.5 million Medicare-enrolled adults in the United States between 2000 and 2016 experienced a 6% to 8% increase in risk of all-cause mortality for every 10 UG/M3 increase in particles. Plus, for lung cancer patients, regardless of the source, their vulnerable state can be made worse by exposure to air pollution. More than 55,000 people diagnosed with lung cancer in 2019 live in counties that received an F for at least one pollutant, the report found. And nearly 6,900 people diagnosed with lung cancer live in counties failing all 3 measures. Particle pollution comes from factories, power plants, and diesel and gasoline-powered motor vehicles and equipment, which either directly emit fine particles or generate other pollutants. Other sources of particle pollution include wildfires, burning wood in wood stoves or residential fireplaces, and burning biomass for electricity. Although cities most affected by western drought and wildfires, including 8 in California, 3 in Oregon, and 3 others in Alaska, Arizona, and Washington, still represented the largest share, cities with high power plant emissions as well as local industrial and mobile sources of year-round particle pollution continued to show up on this list. These included Indianapolis, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Augusta, Houston, Cincinnati, Birmingham, McAllen, Louisville, Chicago, and Laredo. The cleanest cities, because they had 0 days high in particle pollution or ozone and are among the 25 cities with the lowest year-round particle levels, included newcomers to the list: Asheville and Greenville, and Carr, and Rochester, New York. They joined Bangor, Maine, Lincoln, Nebraska, Wilmington, and Carr, and Honolulu. The lung health advocates aren't the only ones looking at how pollution has gotten increasingly dangerous for public health. In recent years, a 9-year-old British girl was the first known global case whose medical cause of death included an official ruling of air pollution as a contributor. The patient, who passed away in 2014, died of acute respiratory failure, severe asthma, and air pollution exposure. And, in 2022, a separate study found that senior citizens who breathe in even low levels of pollution from industry, traffic, wildfires, and other sources face greater odds of dying earlier as a result. Kern ranks number 1 in nation for indicators of poor air quality. News, Bakersfield.com. The Bakersfield Californian. Pollution from PM 2.5 can be deadly and causes nearly 48,000 premature deaths in the United States every year, according to the report.